Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today is truly an honor to have Mr. Andrew Neufeld on the phone. He's the vocalist of Comeback Kid, and they have a new album called Outsider coming out September the 8th. And I suggest everybody go out and pick this up because Comeback Kid's music is pretty badass. So, Andrew, how's it going, my man?
Oh, not too bad, man. I'm just kind of waking up. I got a smoothie in hand, and someone's fixing my fridge right now, so it's not cooling down.
No, never, never. So what's impressed you the most about making the new album Outsider? What's caught your eye about it the most, if anything?
I mean, we put a lot of work into it. This is our sixth studio record, and we just tried to, every time a band releases a record, they always are probably usually pretty ecstatic about it, but I just really feel like we were able to capture a lot of the elements of our band from over the last few records, and it's really just it's a record with a lot of variety, I think, but it's very still true to Comeback Kid, our traditional influences, and I think this is a new chapter for us, and we got a new label and stuff, so it's the whole thing seems fresh right now, and it's feeling good at the moment.
So would you say there was more collaboration on this album as a band than, say, the others possibly?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had a few lineup changes in our band, and this is probably the first time in a while where everybody in the band played on the record. I mean, there's previous records where I would play bass or something like that, and I just sing live, but play bass and play guitar on a bunch of stuff. But on this record, everybody in the band contributed and kind of brought their own flavor to the instrument, and we weren't really treating it as much as touring musicians and whatever we do in the studio, but everyone really had their say and their moments on the record. As far as songwriting, the three of us were writing the songs, and kind of usually how it goes, whoever wrote the song, everyone goes over the parts and really critiques each other, and we write stuff together, but whoever usually kind of brings the idea to the table is the kind of one overseeing the situation while in the studio, making sure that no one's missing a beat or missing a little insignificant change up here or there. You know what I mean?
Right, so. right, for sure. Did Devin Townsend produce this album? I know he played on a track on the album, but
no. He just we just had him sing as a guest vocalist.
Okay.
On one track.
Okay. So who did produce this album?
We just produced it ourselves.
Okay.
And we just recorded with a friend, and we mixed it with Kyle Black. So we produced ourselves. A guy named Stu McKillop recorded it in Vancouver, and engineered it, him and his assistant, and then we mixed it in California with Kyle Black.
Do you guys like that side, Andrew? Just doing it yourself and not having to have a producer, or what's your take on that, man?
For us, I mean, we don't really feel like we've never Comeback Kid. I do enjoy working with producers, but for Comeback Kid, we don't really want to have a producer come in and fuck with our songs too much, because we're not really trying to make a radio record. We're not really trying to break into the mainstream or anything like that. So we don't feel like anyone really coming in is gonna really. We doubt whether it would improve our situation to our preference, really. So we've never really had someone kind of really come in and fuck with the songs too much. And as far as just the tracking and stuff, it was pretty much on autopilot, and we were just kind of trusting our own taste at that point. But we sometimes when I would be doing the vocals, I would say to the other guys, hey, I can't just trust myself, but just it's even to the other guys in the band, hey guys, put your producer hat on. I just want to make sure that do you think this is cool? This kind of this thing that I'm doing here, or whatever. Are you into it? Should I continue down this road? With this kind of vocal style on this part, blah blah blah. So it's just a lot of trusting each other's opinions, and just going for it that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands that's actually going that way. They're doing it themselves instead of going the producer route and things. And I think it's pretty cool that they're actually going out on a limb and trusting their own selves to do that. That's pretty cool, I think.
I think it's great. I sometimes work with other bands and produce other bands too. So I don't know. It's I got I love making records. It's a really enjoyable process for me.
Are there any songs off the Outsider album that stand out more to you than any on it right now, if possible?
I mean, we put out 3 singles so far, and those ones were on purpose because we thought that maybe they would be like standout songs. They're called the first one we put out was called Absolute. That's the one with Devin Townsend. That was more like a stompy kind of hardcore song. And then we put out a couple more like, you know, quote unquote single style songs, you know, for Comeback Kid, as single as we would get with Comeback Kid. But those songs are called Surrender Control and Somewhere Somehow, which are a little bit more melodic. And, you know, there's a reason why we put those ones out early. I think those are a couple of, standout tunes. A couple that haven't been released yet. I mean, by the time, I don't know, like the record's not even out yet, so no one would know these songs. But a couple other songs that I like are Hell of a Scene and Consume the Vision.
From album to album, how much growth musically have you seen yourself and this band go through up to the release of Outsider, man?
I think it's continuous growth. I mean, I look back at some, like, you know, some records and I'm like, oh, fuck, that song is great. I looked back on other records and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking, like, writing that kind of song? Like, why was it changing like this and that there? Like, I don't know. Like, you know, when you haven't like listened to a song in like 7 years, you come back to it and like, why did I want to do it like that? Like, I have no. So it's just time and place. I think, you know, it's like however you're feeling at the moment. Again, like this record, we tried to be really obvious. You know, we tried to make our themes a little bit more obvious. We really, really worked on like our choruses, which is not something that, like, you know, a lot of band, like we do a lot of, we've never like really, really focused on that too much as a hardcore band, you know, but we really, really focused on, you know, some big choruses for this record. And, you know, we really wanted to connect live. So, we took a few chances definitely on this album.
Now, you went from guitarist to vocalist after the 2006 departure of the original Comeback Kid vocalist, Scott Wade. What made you step up and say, hey, look, I'll just go ahead and be vocalist? And plus, I know you play guitar plus on the record, things like that, but do you miss just, you know, being the guitarist and maybe vocalist part of the band at all?
I mean, it wasn't really a surprise when I became a vocalist. Like, I had done tours where, like, when, you know, Scott was still in the band, there was tours where he couldn't do them, and so I would just step in and we would still want to do the tour, so I would sing. So like once like the kind of, you know, we knew that he was leaving the band, it wasn't really like a cold call switch, you know. I'd kind of already tried it out and it seemed to work. And you know, 10 years from that now, you know, so I miss playing guitar. I play guitar in other bands. You know, with I still play guitar and I still, you know, play in the studio and write with Comeback Kid, but you know what? No, I don't miss loading in gear and restringing my guitar. I think it's fine. The only thing, I mean, it is a lot of work singing, but you know, there's a few perks to it too. So
I'm gonna take those 50 guitars over there. You never know, I may need just one of them. Who knows?
Fucking stabbing myself with a string.
Really?
Tuning my guitar and shit.
My damn guitars, all of them's out of tune. Damn it.
I think I'm a decent guitar player, but I do sometimes, I don't know why, I go out of tune live when I'm playing hardcore. So you gotta get those fucking those tuning locks, eh?
Now, I know you guys said that there was more collaboration on this one, but do you guys do anything differently during the writing and recording process to help keep your minds open and fresh and stay focused on creating the style of music that you guys do to make it not stale?
Not really, man. I mean, every record is done differently. I mean, and this record, you know, there's like a lot of we definitely recorded this record a little differently. Like, you know, the engineer that was working with us, he was really wanted to do it to a grid, and like, you know, many times editing by eye to the grid, which is not really my favorite way to do it a lot of the time, to be honest with you. I like to really get performances and, you know, like nail those down. And some people like to do it, you know, the editing version on the grid. And so there's a little bit of butting heads going on there, but it's just, you know, everybody's different the way they record. And, you know, the final product, you know, I think we all reached the goal that we were looking for. Sometimes it was a little bit of a painful process, but it all kind of came together at the end, I think.
In your own opinion, what do you hope the fans take away from the new album Outsider once they start to listen to it, or just Comeback Kids music in general, Andrew?
It's a super angsty record. I talked about a lot of like personal shit and a lot of demons that I deal with on this record, but it's also, in the mood and what we really tried to achieve was to make a really fun sounding record. And I think that, even like, to the point, writing a few songs in a major kind of chords and stuff like that, as opposed to minors. And, we intentionally tried to put a little bit of a more fun kind of twist to this record. So hopefully people take that away from that. And, it's a good, it's definitely a record it's charged up, definitely.
So for the fans that's not got to see you at a live show, what can they expect at a live show from Comeback Kid?
It's a very engaging experience as long as, the audience is up for it. We're not really fans of barricades. We love people coming up and singing along, stage diving and all that shit. And we try to take out bands that kind of share that sentiment. And it's just always, a wild show.
Now, I know we're living in a digital era of recording albums and plus social media and things like that. Do you like this that we're in right now to record albums the way we can now, and plus social media of getting music out, and plus letting people know about the bands and things like that nowadays, or no?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I play the game. I'm not like a super social media guy, but with the record and trying to like promote the band, I do my part. I play ball with it. I don't know. I mean, it's always, I remember when we've always kind of like, internet has always helped Comeback Kid, even in the early 2000s, but it was a very different sort of thing back then. Social media wasn't like the monster that it is now.
Right.
But it's definitely interesting. It kind of allows us to kind of take the reins a little bit more. Definitely.
So support-wise,
as artists, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So support-wise, Andrew, is there a country or a region that stands out more or surprises you? You get support from that area, possibly?
I mean, we do a lot of work in Europe, especially. We're in Europe, 2 or 3 times a year, and thanks to all the European festivals, it's just it's really a strong market for us, just in general, that continent. From Germany to Spain, and so but we're not really a band that like really showcases like ourselves in one specific territory and then kind of flops in another. We're pretty kind of even across the board. We're pretty lucky we can play, South America, down in Brazil, and have great shows, and Southeast Asia and Indonesia play some great shows, and Japan and Australia, and it's just we have we're pretty lucky to have a lot of support around the world.
What does Comeback Kid bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, especially with hardcore music the way you guys play?
Oh man, I'm bad at selling myself. Right? That's kind of like what do we bring to the table? I mean, we just do our thing, man. We're just an honest band, and some nice Canadian boys playing some hardcore punk rock, and I'm not gonna say we're the most standout thing in the world, but we're just kind of doing our thing.
Is there a show?
I'm bad. I'm not a salesman for my band. You know what I mean? I'm just we just play.
It's all good. It's all good. Is there any show or moment that stands out more to you than any that you can recall, possibly, as far as being with Comeback Kid?
We just played a festival in Vivero, Spain, about a month ago, and it's called Resurrection Festival. And our tent was maybe like a 5,000 cap tent or something like that, but it was probably one of my favorite shows I've ever played, top 5, to be doing this long and just have one of those, top 5 or top 3 shows in your career. It was really, really special. Everybody singing along every word. It was like a very magical moment for me. So Resurrection in Spain was dope.
That's the thing about it, man. I see all these festivals overseas, especially like Donington, and you see, especially like the one you're talking about, Resurrection. You see all these festivals overseas. And you're right. It doesn't matter what band that you're in. These folks sing word for word to every song. And I'm going, holy hell, that is awesome.
You know what Spain's really good for as well? They love singing like riffs. They love singing along to riffs. So even if they don't know the words to the song, they'll sing the lead guitar riff, like na 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 na. It's pretty funny. It's cool.
That is awesome, though, if you think about it. So what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you, Andrew?
I grew up in a musical family, so I've just been playing music since I was as long as I could remember. So there was not really any other choice for me. I just fell in love with it from the moment I was doing it, and I fell in love with punk as soon as I got my first Propaganda record when I was like 13 years old. So I don't know. It's never really been a question for me. It's always been, how do I do this? And I want to do it now.
If you could work with any musician, dead or alive, or a band that's broken up that you'd like to bring back together for a couple of days to work with, who would it be possibly?
Wow, that's a good question. You know, I'm just going to stick realistic because I'm not going to go talk about dead musicians because there's a million people, but there's a producer I would really, really fucking love to work with. I don't know personally, I would love to work with him. I don't know if he'd be the best for comeback, but his name's Rich Costy, and he's an amazing, amazing fucking producer, and he's very, very, the sounds that he gets and the kinds of songs that he gets are just quite incredible. So Rich Costy would be amazing to work with.
I'm sure you guys get this a lot, but what's it mean to you guys when you receive an email from a fan or prior to the shows or after the shows? They tell you that Comeback Kid's music has pulled them through a bad experience or gave them inspiration to overcome obstacles, or it's just let them get away and relax, from the everyday bullshit that we all go through. What's that mean to you, man?
I mean, that's a special thing. I mean, I've been helped through a lot of hard times with music as well, and writing the music has helped me get through a lot of hard times myself. So if that can help someone else, I mean, it's definitely a special thing. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's music really connects, doesn't it? It's like
it does.
Time and place, and everyone kind of get it was going to interpret it differently. So I feel lucky to be here and be able to have this platform to kind of speak my mind and play the music that I want to play. So
it's the best therapy that you could buy, I'd say,
Definitely.
Folks, Outsider is out September the 8th from Comeback Kid. I'm glad that they have a new album come out. And it's been a while, but that's okay. You gotta wait a while to get some new shit, but that's awesome. Still great stuff from new Comeback Kid.
Is 3 years really that long? When you've been a band for 20, almost like 17 years, is 3 years really that long?
No. But
I mean, I bet you. There's things that you kind of seem like yesterday. That was 3 years ago for you as well, my friend.
Oh, well, sure. But I mean, there's other people saying, "God, it's been so long." It's not really.
Definitely.
Andrew, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates, things like that? How can they do that?
We are at. You can check us out on Facebook. If you're in the States, the listeners, check into our store at allinmerch.com, or I don't know if it's merch.com or whatever. It's all in, and Comeback Kid, and or you can pre-order our records from Nuclear Blast right now. We got some bundles up and shit like that. So
before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show, good sir?
Yo, what's up? This is Andrew from Comeback Kid. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Get into that shit.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks a lot, man.